welcome to the Adam Bursztein Contract to Close podcast. Adam, how are you today?
I'm doing excellent, sir, as always. How are you?
Hanging in there. A little bit warmer weather down there. It looks like from our pre-show discussions. It is mid-February. The Super Bowl just ended. I've heard there is a myth with timing the market in relation to the date of the Super Bowl. Do homes show up on the market the day after the Super Bowl?
I've actually never heard that myth before, so this is a good myth. So we're in February of the pandemic still. Every episode that we have filmed, I always mention we're in a pandemic. Most people thought the market was going to crash. Everything is up. Biden's in office, and we're moving forward, right? With that being said, we just had a Super Bowl in Tampa where Tom Brady just showed how amazing he is. And I'm a Dolphin fan, and I do not, Patriots, they've always dominated, right? But I'm sure it's having an impact in Tampa big time. And to further that conversation, I do luxury real estate as one of my waterfront luxury real estate, right? And Tom Brady and his wife just bought property down here in Miami Beach, as well as Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump and Bella Hadid and all these people in Indian Creek and Alton Road, which is like a subsection of Bal Harbor in Miami Beach. So South Florida is unique in so many, and now we're like the tech hub and hedge funds. So it's a very interesting time to be in South Florida today.
So maybe the Super Bowl myth has formulated around the idea of the spring market starting in March and April. So if I list in February, I'll have a leg up on the competition. Are you getting the sense that that traditional spring market is still going to start March, April, May, even with what's happened with the pandemic?
Well, the pandemic in South Florida, unlike other markets, it's fast forward times speed 1,000. So down here, you have to move fast right now to secure a single family home. It's very, very competitive. A lot of the people are moving from New York, California. There's been a big exodus of California into Texas, but that has also come to South Florida with that tech bubble again, Silicon Valley, and the money from the Northeast. So in South Florida, very little inventory. If you're a seller in South Florida and you're watching this, come list with Adam Bursztein. If you're relocating, come find Adam Bursztein so I can help you secure something over here. That's number two. And number three, our season typically in South Florida, because this is the market that I know and specialize 20 years in, born and raised in South Florida since 1976. December through April is our season, no matter what. Even in the pandemic right now, we are busy. We are at capacity for COVID. If it was not a pandemic, we would be over capacity, but the pandemic has spurred here, much like the Hamptons and other places that normally do not see a year-round business. Today, South Florida, February 12th was my wife's birthday, and moving from that day forward, the country has been under snow conditions, except for South Florida. The phones have not stopped ringing. This podcast was supposed to be at 11 o'clock. What time did we start? Almost 12, because I'm showing property starting at 9 in the morning to get things done. That's how competitive it is today. So you need a good agent in South Florida right now.
So you said the traditional season is December to April. When is the best time to list traditionally?
Right after hurricane season ends, right after Thanksgiving here. So people that don't know that, that's a fun fact. So right after Thanksgiving, you want to start, or even like getting ready. I mean, it's hard for me to say because I think it's a great time to sell and list every single day of the year in South Florida. But if you want to talk like history and kind of like what traditionally happens, like right after Halloween, what is that? October, November, you want to start preparing and doing, and then you want to have it on the market by December 1, because after Thanksgiving, people are traveling to family, and then as soon as the first snow hits anywhere, they're in South Florida, and then people that are securing rentals, which we do on seasonal type stuff, they're reserving a year in advance, and we have to hold them off a lot. Like people want their spot down here December through February, and then the real ones that can go through April. So as a seller, you need to be ready for all of that.
Do you find that properties that list in the first 3 months sell more than listings that come on in June and July?
I mean, in a traditional market, sure, absolutely. But that's where the buys are found too. So even in this market, people are on the fence and they're waiting for June, July. But it's a very short window because then you have schools starting. So then the people that in single family homes that are looking for schools, you get some buzz. South Florida is different than any other market. I mean, I look at everything: Texas, Arkansas, California, New York. I'm a real estate guy. It's what I do. South Florida is so unique, man. People are buying year round here. We don't have snow. I mean, we golf 365. Were in the water 365. Unless it's lightning or a hurricane, we're selling, doing, and enjoying South Florida. So I invite everybody to come down here.
So there's the timing for the South Florida market is maybe a little bit more predicated on hurricane season and school starting rather than just winter weather slowing things down like it does more north of you.
But you have two different. You have a lot of different things happening. So I would break it down into that. But then I would look at it from a local perspective. People I work with here locally that want to move up or downsize. And then you look at it from a snowbird standpoint of people that are trying to come here and snowbird here part-time or in a retirement phase. And then you also have to time the international markets here because we work with international. So, here it's summer, but there it's winter. And wherever it's winter, this is where people go. It's like, that's just the way it works. The school is cool and everything else. It's really, if it's winter somewhere else, they're here in Miami Beach or in Fort Lauderdale Beach or enjoying South Florida, whether it's on the West Coast or the East. That's what we're about, right?
Is there any different strategy timing the market for a single family home versus a condo?
Absolutely. So then you would go back to the local perspective. Even, then you're like seller hat, right? So then you want to sell before school starts and you want to be ready for the snowbirds when they come into town. And then if you're a buyer, you want to wait till the summer because that's when things get it gets too hot here, humid, sticky. People leave out of here because humidity. So it's winter that brings them, right? And then it's humidity that takes them out of here. So that's how you plan, dude. That's how I look at things. You work around Mother Nature.
Is there a big difference between the luxury condo market and then maybe a middle income, more affordable condo market?
So to kind of go back to the other one and just, tie it in, a little bow here, condos and single family homes are two different animals all the time. They really are. One's dealing with maintenance fees and investment purposes and seasonal person or somebody who doesn't want to deal with roofs and insurance anymore. And then single families are usually like growing families and then professionals and people that are not that professionals. It's people with kids or whatever, or where we sell in Davie and Southwest Ranches. It's a horse lifestyle. It's a tennis lifestyle. It's different. Or any community, Parkland, Coral Springs, it's tennis, golf, or equestrian. And then when you live east, it's boating and diving and windsurfing. And I do all of those. So check me out on YouTube.
Any difference between, exactly what's happening downtown and what's happening in the suburbs? Have you noticed any trends over the last couple of weeks?
So, I always mess around. I say, hey, when you get Adam Bursztein, you get something good. I was born here in 1976. I'm only 45, but I lived from Kendall, which is far south Miami. It's far north now as Davie, but I have family that lives all the way to Jupiter. So, I drive, I travel, so I can answer any question about any market, that you want to talk about. If you look down what's happening south, it is a more faster pace in Miami than Broward County. And Brickell is like our financial district. It's our epicenter. And so we have a lot of activity there just in condo speculation and single family home values are way up. The median average price per square foot in Miami Beach right now, which is like more of the party lifestyle versus Brickell, right? That's $1,000 a square foot. Sorry, I got a phone call there. I have a showing of a commercial property at 3:00 from a guy that owns some buildings, and he's looking for another property here in Fort Lauderdale. So besides doing residential, I really do a lot of commercial real estate as well. So maybe one day we'll talk commercial real estate. That could be fun.
Well, let's touch on that for one quick second. You mentioned that there has been a shift in tech coming south. Is that a direct result of the pandemic and offices not being open in California, New York?
This is not paid advertisement. This is their latte. I love it, man. Decaf. Yeah, I mean, the pandemic has been like such an interesting shift. People are seeing mobile, how great we can be mobilely, and that is fast forwarded. Besides real estate, you and I have talked personally, and for these people that want to know a little bit more about me, I'm a big maximalist in Bitcoin, and I'm also know a lot of poker players, and outside of real estate, I have a lot of interest in different things: bicycles and poker and Bitcoin, and golf. And all these things work down here in South Florida, man. South Florida is such a dynamic market for meeting people and doing things that it's interesting, man. So what does that mean? Well, people are looking for warehouse space now. People are working from home today, but as the vaccine moves on, and I think you guys have more traditional, I mean, you guys, meaning like 9-to-5ers, people that are home. I speak to executives, CEOs, vice presidents of company. These guys usually fly 180 to 200 days a year. They're grounded right now, right? So they're doing Zoom calls, and these guys are loving it, but there's still something about the handshake and the in-person that we need. And the office environment is coming back. It's just going to be different. I think I've read the cubicles are going to be bigger. There's going to be a little more space. And now they finally are adjusting, especially in New York, where it was so expensive. I've listened to the CEOs of these big companies. Dude, it's not going anywhere. And there is a big buy in New York. So like a guy like me in Florida, I am looking in New York, right? Why? Because it's traditionally, or it's like historically, is a buy in New York right now. True or not true?
Mm-hmm.
You talk to agents, you're doing this all day, you're interviewing. I don't even listen to those things. I read, and I know that if that's where and it's not gonna, I guarantee you in 3 to 5 years, or maybe less, things are going to start going the other way. I mean, it's New York. New York is New York, right? I mean, it is. And I asked my wife the other day, what borough do you love the best, right? Like, where could you see yourself living? In the meatpacking? Would you live here? Or we like, what did I tell her? We like Greenwich Village, right? Or whatever, something like that. So I was like, hey, I don't know. So I'm reaching out to Compass agents, and I'm saying, hey, what do you got? What's up over there? There's a lot of interesting things going on. So just like there's interesting here, there's interesting there. So I don't know if I answered your question, but that's kind of like a long answer for whatever.
What does the next 4 or 5 months look like?
Commercial is like, it's warehouses, it's different things, it's flex space, it's different. I was showing a ton of retail yesterday from a guy from Canada moving down here, relocating his business and his child or children, whatever. And I showed him some cool stuff. If you see my stuff on live on Instagram, it was a retail space on 60th in Miami. We were looking at stuff in old Hollywood, classic Hollywood Boulevard, which all the Canadians know, and these people, and then we looked close to the Fort Lauderdale airport, around the warehouses and stuff like that for easy. And then I have people in New York that want safe investments, large warehouse opportunities. They're not buying ground up anymore like we were selling back in the day, which are still transactions. But somewhere where you want to park your money, get income, get a check from a good person, lease back opportunities, So that's kind of stuff that I'm working on. I'm working on leases with the intent to buy at some sort of a price today that's more than today, but less than the future, right? And negotiating that. So it's like, hey, we want to buy, but first we want to rent. And if we want to buy, we want to have the option to buy this building too. Okay, we can do that, right? So that's things that we do as well. You want to relocate your company here? Bring them down.
Have you noticed anything with regard to co-working spaces going, up or down in interest?
Yeah, yeah. So that's, I mean, those guys lost their tush right now. And I was going to open up a WeWork space with a friend of ours down here that came up with a good idea. And we were looking into it and it was fun. And I think it was going to be a good thing. This is pre-pandemic, man. And then when the pandemic happened, like, we spoke and I was like, how happy are you that we didn't do that? It just happened in time. We were busy and could have cost us a lot of money, and time and energy, because the pandemic, it scared all of us but now moving forward, and WeWork got destroyed. Our company Compass SoftBank is an investor in us. So SoftBank was also an investor in WeWork. So that's an interesting business model. It is not going anywhere from what I've read. And it's just changing the dynamics of the floor plans now to accommodate for a little more space and a little more lifestyle. What Facebook does and Google does and Amazon, all these cool companies, these more traditional companies are going to have to do that to survive.
Well, Adam, we'll have to dive deeper into the commercial space on a future episode, but our listeners and viewers can watch this episode and past episodes by searching Adam Bursztein on YouTube, as well as Contract to Close on Spotify and Apple. Where can we connect directly with you to get some more help with South Florida business?
I always direct people to equityadvisorteam.com. That's our website. And then from there, I always try to encourage people. We're building our mailing list for this weekly or bi-weekly newsletter about all hot topics going on and stuff. So that's my big passion right now, is get my mailing list going. And of course, it's a selfish promotion and plug here. I need to get my subscribers on this YouTube channel. Since our last, I was down to like 10. I'm at 29. I asked my friends and my fans for my 45th birthday, get me to 45. It's my number. I like 45. I feel comfortable. I got 7. Okay. So I'm working hard. I'm begging in the streets. I'm asking everybody, just go to YouTube, because they don't unleash the power of YouTube until I get to 1,000 followers and I think 400 hours of watch time. So that you're helping me, and we need to move this YouTube ship further along. That's my hope. That's my dream, dude. That's what I want.
We'll get there this year.
All right, sir. Move fast with Adam Bursztein.
I'll talk to you soon, Adam.
Hey, man, thank you so much. And I'm still inviting you down here. I don't know why you stay there in that, in that environment. There's so many opportunities here, bro.
Coming soon.
Thank you, sir. All right, bro. Appreciate it.